about food, life, stress, and how to feel better. And I'm glad you're here. And that means that you want to feel better. You want to make some changes in your life, and you're ready to get going and learn something new. And I have some really great stuff to share with you today. I'm super excited about it. We are going to use my handy little easel here that we will turn to in just a few minutes to talk about kind of the pillars of life. Because we're all trying to, well, maybe or maybe not, but we might be trying to make some changes, and something's not clicking, something's not working right. And that is because we might be going about it the wrong way. So really, I want to share with you today the pillars that I focus on, that we focus on in the Radiance program, and how to manage the stress of everyday life, because this is what we're dealing with all the time. And we know that stress isn't going to go away. So we need to figure out how to manage it better. So what I want to begin with, and I want this to be fun for you, and I want it to be inspirational and exciting. So I want you to dream a little bit. I want to kick it off by dreaming a little. So let's all take a deep breath for a second. Nice inhale. Good. Nice exhale. Part of living the life that you want to live is being in touch with your body, your mind, your spirit, and your breath. Your breath is the most amazing tool to bring you back into connection with yourself at any given time. So the breath is always there for you. It's free, and you can use it anytime to feel back into balance. And it can help you give signals to your body that helps you understand what's going on and the messages that your body's trying to send you. So, okay, so let's go back to dreaming a little bit. I have a few questions for you. When we're talking about health, we can often feel like it's a super heavy load. Like, how am I going to feel better? How am I going to make changes? How am I going to switch things up so that I have more energy, so that I sleep better, so that I'm a better mom, that I enjoy being a mom, that you have desire for your honey, or you want to have intimate, good, strong relationships. So what would you change? What do you want to see changing in your life, honestly? And sometimes recognizing what that is the very first step to feeling better, and to just have a direction to go into, because oftentimes we're just kind of hair on fire, going, but we never really stop and ask ourselves, like, what would we do differently? Like, how could we feel differently? What do we want to feel differently? So would you like to have less anxiety? Would you like to have better sleep? Do you want to have more quality family time, better relationships, feel different in your body? I have to admit, that's a big one for me. And it's not about like fitting into my jeans, but as we're going through these changes in our bodies throughout time, from childbearing to perimenopause to premenopause to menopause to postmenopause. I mean, our bodies are constantly changing. As women, we have these incredible bodies. You know that. I hope you know how incredible your body is. She is able to shift and change and take care of everyone and still take care of herself. And we're going to talk about that today. How can we take care of everyone else and take care of ourselves? So, yeah, okay. Is it horrible that I want to fit into my jeans? Is it terrible that I want to feel good in my body? No, it's not. This is, we want to feel good. We want to feel beautiful. We want to feel radiant. We want to feel strong. We want to feel capable and able. And I don't know how many of you guys are dealing with this, but also we're taking care of older parents. And that's a great motivation to take care of ourselves. As we see our parents aging and the things that they're going through, we're like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm telling my husband, I don't want to be on the couch. I don't want to not be able to get up off the floor. I want to be active and vibrant, and I want to be able to do all the things that I want to do well into my older age. So aging gracefully is another really big thing that maybe that is your focus. And obviously that's a goal that is on down the road, but what can we do now to really feel good in our bodies right now? So, just smiling at yourself in the mirror and liking what you see. We are so hard on ourselves. So we're going to go through some of these things that I hope will help you feel better in your day and feel good in your body and have more energy and deeper sleep. These are all the things that we're talking about. So really quick, I just like to share a little bit about my story, and just so that you know where I'm coming from. I grew up in kind of a stressful childhood. My mom raised us by ourselves, but me and four girls raised us by herself. And meanwhile, my dad had a restaurant. So our time of seeing my dad was in the restaurant business, which you may or may not know is incredibly stressful and not necessarily the place to be for a young woman or a young girl. And so, life is stressful. And I'm sure you have your own story about growing up and however it may have been stressful or not stressful. Maybe you had a perfect life, but school is stressful, friends is stressful, getting good grades is stressful, competitiveness, all of those things. We all encounter stress in some way, shape, or form, and then we figure out how to deal with it. But it's affecting our physiology and how we've grown up and how we're coming through. It affects our hormones at a very young age. So I kind of started off, like, let's conquer the world. I can handle anything. I've already been through a lot, and I'm just going to figure out how to keep going. And I became very competitive. That's also my nature. We may have a little bit of time to talk about your nature today. So fast forward, I worked in the restaurant business. I've been in food my entire life. I had a catering business. My catering business was my ticket out of the restaurant. And I thought I could do that while having children and being a stay-at-home mom. So yes, very stressful. Again, I created that scenario, but I really wanted to mostly be home with my kids. And then those long weekends of working, my husband was able to help me take care of the kids. So I just continued this stressful path for a very long time. My mom, my sweet mom, passed away from colon cancer several years ago. And that was a big turning point for me. And I tell you about that because my gosh, the things we're going to talk about today are directly related to our colon, to stress, to illness, to disease. We want to be in charge. We do not want life to be in charge of us. We want to be in charge. And my sweet mom died from colon cancer, and I know it was because of her diet, because of her stress load, because of her anxiety and worry. And I don't want that for us. I especially, having that been my mom's experience, I don't want that for me. And when she passed away, I really got focused and said, okay, Steph, it's time to do this work in a real way to help myself and help other women, because your digestion, your nourishment is the most important thing that you can do for your body. And if our colon and our digestion is not working properly, it's just opening the door for all kinds of problems. So your radiance comes from nourishment and from how strong your digestion is and how we handle stress. So I wanted to share that because that's a big reason why I do the work that I do today. So I've been fascinated with the human body pretty much my entire life. I was an athlete growing up, and when something hurt or when I was tired or I had a headache or I didn't feel good, it was normally because I was dehydrated, I was hungry, or I was tired. So water, food, and sleep, the basics, right? But I just, at a very young age, was trying to heal myself with food, with lifestyle habits. So then I'm in catering business. I also got my yoga teacher training at about the same time, just before that. And that's when I fell in love with Ayurveda. I shipped myself off to Ayurveda school. I went way back in 2011 to Ayurveda school. I went to Kripalu, which is up in Massachusetts. And the most incredible experience of my life. I left my 3 young kids at home for my mom and my sisters and my husband to take care of. And I made that choice for myself, which was not easy, but I did it. And I have to be honest, it's taken me many years to figure out how to live the Ayurveda. I'm still practicing it. I'm still working on it. It's still not perfect. And I realized that that's not the point. Getting it perfect is not the point. And so that's why when we look at health from this holistic viewpoint, from all of these different angles, we're able to bring holistic health, bring radiance into our life in lots of different ways, instead of creating a diet or a bunch of rules or whatever pathways we've tried before that have not worked. Okay, so let's get on with it. Let's talk some holistic health. I want to start off by sharing with you these pillars of holistic, of radiance, I should say. I want to share with you these pillars because these are kind of the answers to how we are going to go about this, how we're going to feel better. That's the whole point of this call today, is how are we going to feel better? So let's see if I can arrange things a little bit here. How's everyone doing? Are you guys doing good? Thank you again for being here. I do think I have the chat open, and if you have questions, we're gonna have some time at the end for questions. So please, if you want to jot down your questions, go right ahead, and we should have a few minutes at the end to talk about any questions you might have. And you don't have to come on live. You don't have to enable your camera or anything. You can just put something in the chat. Great. Hi, Kristen in Norway. Oh my gosh. I love that you came to hang out with me. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm trying not to have glary glasses either. Okay, let's talk about the pillars of radiance. Okay, let's see how we are going to do this. Okay. So we are going to start first. Let's just see if I can make sure you can see this. Okay. My handwriting. Is that backwards for you guys? Oh gosh. It's fine. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Okay, so first, let's go ahead and talk about food, because food really is the biggest thing. And what I want to emphasize is that food food is everything. And you know this already. My friend Wendy, who I think is on here, she says, food is king, movement is the queen. And they go together. They harmonize together. But food is the king of your holistic health. And why? Because the food that you're eating is nourishing your tissues. It's nourishing all of the tissues of your body, your muscle tissue, your bone tissue, your blood, your hormones, your organs. Everything that you eat nourishes your body on some level. So you know this already. And we also know that food is a very powerful way to make changes in our diet and in our life. So food is one of the pillars, and we're going to get through all of these. So let's just start there. That the food, we know, nourishing your body, it balances your hormones, it helps your stress response, it balances your mood, it helps you sleep better. Food is kind of the needle mover in everything. But what if you really struggle with making changes in your diet and you have cravings? That's all very normal. And this is your GI, your belly, speaking to your brain. So there's this connection between your brain and your belly, and the vagus nerve helps you communicate back and forth. So the food that you're eating sends messages to your brain, and your brain sends messages to your belly. So food is a great place to start. And in a few minutes, we're going to talk specifically about what you can do to start to make slow changes in the food that you're eating so that you're getting full nourishment. But if you're experiencing hormone imbalances, that's another thing we should talk about, because we're not actually balancing your hormones. I know that's like, what? That's what everybody's telling me, is that everything is hormone balancing. You're how do we say this? Like, when you're going through a perimenopause and menopause, you're not necessarily trying to create more estrogen. You're not trying to create more hormones. What you're trying to do is manage how your body is responding to the shift in hormones. And that one way to do that is through the food that you're eating, because the food specifically is nourishing every tissue of your body, including your reproductive organs. Okay, so food. Let's talk next about the nervous system. The nervous system is also key, because if you have a dysregulated nervous system, you have a very hard time digesting the food that you're eating. So, when you're feeling like everyone's driving you crazy, when nothing seems like it's getting done, and you feel like you have to do everything yourself, or you're driving in the car and every little person around you, like you can't even make it across town without having a full-on aggravated stress response. That's because your nervous system is dysregulated, because we just are living in fight or flight all the time. And remember, like, part of my story, I told you, I just was like, instead of freezing or just running away, I was like, let's go. I'm going to fight all the way through. And you can only do that for so long before things start to deplete you. And that's how I landed myself in Ayurveda school. I wanted to know there is a different way to do it. So, nervous system, I'm going to share with you a few nervous system calming practices that you can start to add to your day, whether you're in the car or wherever you may be, having a conversation with your honey, talking to your kids, all of those things. We're gonna add a couple of things there. So, the next pillar, energy. And I also put movement here, because we want to have energy to go through our day, to do everything that we want to do, to enjoy life, to be able to get up off the floor, to be able to cook a nice dinner for yourself or for your family, to be able to go out and have fun with your friends. And if we're exhausted all the time, that is not a fun way to go. We've tried it. Probably at some point, every one of you has tried that, and it just doesn't feel very good. It's not very fun. So movement is part of this, because oftentimes when we don't have very much energy, what we tend to do is we think we have to do more. So, and sometimes a good workout will give you energy and help you feel better. Absolutely. But if we overdo it, we're just making it more difficult to recover and respond and have the energy that we need. And by the way, you need energy to sleep as well. So when our nervous system is dysregulated, and perhaps we haven't filled our body with good food and nourishment, we're not going to have enough energy even to get a deep night's sleep. And I think sometimes we eat less and we move our bodies more to try to find the balance and try to feel better. But really, sometimes we need to eat more, move a little bit more gently, so that we can calm our nervous system and regulate our nervous system. So as you can probably see how this is beginning to start to come together a little bit. Okay, so we talked, this is all relating to rest and sleep and recovery. And the sleep piece, as you know, is so important, and everyone needs to figure out what their own kind of sleep is. I'll tell you, once my youngest moved out of, went away to college, I was like, okay, I'm giving myself a year. I'm going to sleep whenever I need to sleep. And you can't really catch up on sleep, and that's kind of the problem that I'm having. But I thought, I'm going to let myself sleep in the morning. First time in like 25 years, I didn't have to get up and have to get up and help kids get out the door to school. Even even when my youngest was a senior in high school, I still liked getting up with him in the morning, and I'm sending him on his way. And I decided once he went that I was going to give myself a year to sleep as much as I need to. If I need to nap, I'm going to nap. If I want to go to bed early, I want to go to bed early. If I want to sleep in, we're going to, if we have time, I want to talk a little bit about the energy of the day. But sometimes that morning sleep between, like 6:37 and 8:39 can be really deep. Have you ever experienced that? It can be a very deep sleep and it can feel very restoring, but then sometimes you wake up and you feel really sluggish. We're gonna hit on that just briefly today, but the energy of the day is very helpful to rebalance this whole system. Okay, and we need, as we said, recovery is so important. While you're sleeping, this is when your hormones are trying to catch up. This is when your body goes out and does cleanup duty. It's when you're processing, you're transforming all the food of your day, and then you're figuring out where to put it. Are you going to release it? Are you going to store it? Or are you going to use it for energy? Your sleep and recovery time is so incredibly, maybe just as important as food. Those two, you can see how all four of them can be important and how they all go together. Okay, so when all of these things are working together, this is when we have what I call, when all of these things are working together, this is what I call radiance, radiance living. Radiance living. And what I want to emphasize today is that you can just focus on one thing. Since they all are so beautifully intertwined, if you decide to really focus on calming your nervous system, you're going to naturally have different cravings. You're going to naturally have more energy. Then you're going to naturally sleep deeper. If you want to focus on sleep, say, I am exhausted and I ignore, excuse me, I ignore all of the signals from my body to sleep. Maybe that's what you need to focus on first, because maybe that will be the biggest needle mover for you. Okay, so the name of this class today is Food, Stress, and Life, How to Feel Better. So Steph, where's stress in this scenario? I bet you have an idea, don't you? It's everywhere. Oh my gosh. Stress is everywhere. It's coming at us from all angles. And when we allow our stress to take over and dictate all of our choices, that's what I call a hot mess. So when we're allowing stress to be in charge and make all of these decisions for us, that's when we feel terrible. We feel like a hot mess. We feel like we can't keep all the balls in the air. We feel like we're operating with hair on fire. We are wired and tired and we have trouble sleeping. Then we have trouble waking up because our cortisol is your stress response hormone. Our cortisol levels are all out of whack. And then our body doesn't know what to do because it's confused. It's like, why am I at a high stress level at 11 p.m. when I'm trying to go to sleep, but in the morning, I cannot drag myself out of bed? That is because we're in constant stress mode. We're allowing the stress to take over. And this is what I want to talk about, because unfortunately, the stress is not going to change much. It's not going to shift. So, I mean, it's always changing, it's always shifting, but we have to take charge and we have to decide how we're going to respond to it. So the idea is that we get into this cycle of taking care of ourselves in a new way, and we tighten up these junctions here, and we make this a stronger system of resisting so that we make these bounce off. So that stress just literally bounces off and it's still there, but we're not letting it infuse every part of our life, our nourishment, our rest, our sleep, our energy, and our nervous system. Okay, so let's talk about we want to send stress away. We do not want to be a hot mess. And I identified myself as a hot mess for a long time. And then I was like, why am I identifying as a why I don't want to be a hot mess. So why am I deciding that I am a hot mess? And how can I change that? So it takes time, but first of all, stop calling yourself a hot mess. How about that? It helps. I mean, our brain, our thoughts are very powerful. Okay, so we'll do food last. Let's talk about our nervous system. And I gave you a clue at the beginning. Your breathing. Breathing is very helpful, and that's why yoga and if you go to fitness classes that are focused around breathing, they are the most nervous system calming types of exercise. Breathing is very, very powerful because it gives your whole body the message of calm, release, and parasympathetic response. So your nervous system is made up of several different sections: the parasympathetic, sympathetic, and then there are several more that we don't need to get into today. But basically what we want to do is we want to be in parasympathetic mode, which is the low stress mode, which is the relax, rest, and digest mode. And you can tap into that with your breath very quickly. So one thing you can do is just have your hands on your belly, and right away, put your hands on your belly. You can feel your energy go from your head and your shoulders down into your belly. I can feel it right now just by doing that one little thing. And of course, I'm super in my head right now because I'm sharing information with you and I'm really on, but I want to bring my energy down just for a brief minute down into my belly. So you can do this with me. Feel your breath coming down into your belly. And then when you breathe in, your inhale, imagine you're breathing in and down and you're letting your belly expand. That's breathing into your diaphragm. Your diaphragm activates the parasympathetic mode. And then when you exhale, you just feel your belly relax gently back down and exhale a little bit more air out if you can. So you're going to feel a normal exhale and see if you can just exhale a tiny bit more. And then you'll breathe in again into your belly, feel your belly expand, and then exhale. So very simple. You can take 3 breaths and it will help you. I recommend trying, you know what I didn't put on here? Family. I'm missing the pillar of family. I'm so sorry. I'm missing the pillar of family. I want you to try this 3 breath thing when you are having a conversation with someone in your family that is difficult or heated or aggravating or irritating. I want you to try the 3 breath trick. If you want, you can put your hands on your belly while you're talking to this person. This might be a difficult conversation at work. It might be a difficult conversation at the grocery store. It might be when you're driving down the road. You can do this and you can stay fully present and aware to everything that's going on around you. Another trick you could try is just by putting your hand on your chest. And you could put both hands on your chest. And it's kind of like this, protection gesture or position. So you can put your hand on your heart center and you can take your deep breaths and you can just listen to the person who you're talking to. We need to put our nervous system towards the top of the list because you already know that it doesn't feel good to be in that fight and flight mode all the time. So we're going to really focus on the nervous system. I want to give you one more. Well, okay, there's a lot. Dancing, singing, listening to music, all of those things can help calm your nervous system down, especially if sometimes you want to bust it out and have some really loud, fun, active music. Sometimes you want super calm, chill music. Music is very powerful to help calm your nervous system down and kind of take you out of your brain and into your body. So dancing is a great one. Singing in the shower, hot water, a nice water is wonderful for releasing your nervous system. And singing in the shower is also really good because again, it tells your body, it sends your body a vibration. So these are really easy things we can do. Breathing, moving, singing, these are all great. One more I wanted to share with you. I'm not going to be able to show you from here, but if you put your hands at the base of your ribs, you're an L with your hands and put them at the base of your ribs, and they might be a little lower than you think. And this is kind of similar to how you're feeling your diaphragm move, but breathe into your lowest ribs and just feel them expand when you inhale. Feel your ribs expand. And then when you exhale, just feel them soften. And again, 3 times, 10 times, 20 times, however many breaths you need to kind of calm down, but you're bringing the energy down into your belly and into your body and out of your head. And it's very helpful. So I hope that you'll give some of those things a try. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about energy and movement. We're just going to talk about this one briefly because I want to talk about the energy of the day here in a few minutes. But the movement is incredibly important. And we're going to talk about blood sugar in a minute when we get back to food. But when you are moving your body, first of all, we just have to keep moving. It's so important to keep moving, but we don't have to hurt your body on the way to moving and trying to hit your wellness goals. So walking outside in nature is 100% the best thing you can do. It's resetting to your cortisol and your melatonin levels. It's easy. You don't have to walk fast. You can do it every day. It's free. It helps your circadian rhythm because if you get outside every single day, your body acclimates to the temperature. It acclimates to the seasons. The sun coming up and setting, the sunrise and sunset change a little tiny bit every single day as we go through the seasons. And by walking outside, you get a chance to acclimate your body to the circadian rhythm. Incredibly important because as soon as that sunlight hits your eyes, it activates your cortisol. And guess what? Cortisol activates every other hormone in your body. Estrogen, progesterone, leptin, ghrelin, which are your food hormones, your eating hormones, I should say. So very important. And then at night, you want things to calm down so that you can give your body a chance to calm the cortisol and let the melatonin pop up and be stronger. Melatonin is what helps prepare you for sleep. Okay, so don't injure yourself. Don't push so hard that you don't recover. You want to find the right kind of energy movement for you. If you're in perimenopause and menopausal age, it's incredibly important to build muscle. I learned this from this is such great important information, but you just remember you want to have structure in your bones, and your bones are supported by muscle supported by fascia supported by skin. So all of movement is incredibly important. When you build more muscle, you keep your muscle strong and healthy, you are giving your body more opportunity to balance your blood sugar. And why is that? Because your blood sugar, the food that you eat, gets turned into your tissues, and it raises your insulin levels, and then we store energy, in your liver because your liver is working 24/7. It never ever quits. So we store energy in your liver and then into your muscle tissue. So the more muscle tissue you have, the better able you are to store energy. Okay, did you catch that? The more muscle tissue you have, the better able you are to store energy. And you want to use energy, obviously, for every function in our body, but it helps you stabilize your mood. It helps stabilize your nervous system response, and it helps stabilize your blood sugar. So another class, we'll talk about fat burning in another class, but fat burning is also important. Obviously, fat burning is very important, and fat burning is a very stable energy. So we'll also, if we have a little bit of time, we're going to talk about how you can get into fat burning mode in between meals, and that's also very important. Okay, sleep, rest, and recovery. You need to go back to the time when you had littles at home. Maybe you don't have children, but a bedtime routine is incredibly important. So I remember when when my kids were little, I was catering a lot and I was working all the time, and I would figure out how to work at home with my kids, and my kids would go to mommy's day out or whatever, or preschool, and then later on grade school. But I would do the best I could, and then I would get the kids home from school, and then it was dinner time, sports, whatever, dinner, and then books, bath, and bed. Or maybe it was bath, bed, and books. Bath, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, we had the same routine every single night because I needed it, because I needed my kids to go to bed and I needed them to get a good night's sleep and I needed them to be in bed at a certain time. And as they got older, and if they needed help with homework or needed help signing up for something or who knows what, kids always need something, I would say, I will help you with anything before 9 p.m. After 9 p.m., I am not available. We might be hanging out, we might be, I don't know, watching a little bit of TV perhaps, but my brain is done by 9 o'clock. In fact, it's probably done by 6, but don't ask me for anything after 9 p.m. And we need to go back to this. We need to give ourselves our own little bedtime routine. And that might be taking a shower every night before you go to bed. The warm water, calming to your nervous system, washing away your day, maybe put some nice oil on your skin, whatever you can to be calming, you can actually put oil on the soles of your feet, and that will help you sleep more deeply. I would probably put a pair of socks on over the oil so you don't ruin your sheets. I do that often and I end up taking the socks off in the middle of the night, but oil on your feet is a very powerful way to bring you into deeper sleep. So a shower, a bedtime routine, read a book. One of my teachers in Ayurveda school, Dr. John Duyard, would say, read a boring book. Don't read anything too exciting. Things not to do. Don't start doing laundry. Don't check your email. Don't start scrolling on Instagram. The phone, I heard this comparison. When you get on your computer or on your phone, it's like thousands of stimulation coming into your brain. I'm trying to think of how this person described it. So do you know in that movie with Dustin Hoffman, and he's autistic, and like a box of matches or a box of sticks spills on the floor, and he immediately can count like 1,521 sticks on the floor. Your brain, when you're on your computer and when you're on your phone, your brain is counting all of the stimulus coming into your eyes and into your brain. So those are things to not do when you're getting ready for bed. Don't stimulate yourself anymore. Let yourself be calm, read a book, have low light in your house, shower, singing in the shower, meditating, breathing. You can do your 10 breaths in your bed before you're falling off to sleep. So give all of those things a try, because we absolutely cannot survive without deep rest and recovery. One more thing I might add, if you, maybe you work in the home or maybe you work out of the home, wherever it may be, what is the most stressful time of day for you? And for me, it's still, regardless of what I have going on in the house, around 3:34, which is like used to be school pickup time. That's normally when I feel either tired or antsy, or like I want a snack, or I'm agitated and I feel like I can't focus on what's next. Maybe that's a good time for a timeout. Maybe you can set the timer for 15 minutes and give yourself a little resting time in the middle of the day, in the middle of the afternoon, because here's what happens when you give yourself a little rest. Again, you're balancing your blood sugar, you're calming down your nervous system, and then you'll be able to better handle the cravings that might come between like 3 and 5. So if you're feeling cravings, number one, you could drink some water because you might be dehydrated. It's possible that you're hungry, but start with water first. It also might be that you're just completely overstimulated and you need a little bit of quiet time. You need to kind of bring it down. So whatever that stressful time of day for you is, like if you feel cravings coming on, now it's not to say that you shouldn't answer your cravings, but try water and try resting. And I have put some headphones on and put some really calming music on. And my preferred timeout is the legs up the wall pose, because that changes the direction of your blood flow. It stimulates your lymphatic system. We're going to talk about that sometime, not today. We don't have time for the lymphatic system, but wow, talk about the magic of your body. The lymphatic system is incredible. And we really need to keep those pathways of detoxification open. So we'll talk about that another time. But the legs at the wall pose is great for moving your lymphatic system and kind of bringing you back into balance. It only takes 15 minutes, 15, 10, 20 minutes, whatever you can do. Set the timer, see if you can stick that in somewhere before you're heading into a stressful time of day or when you normally have cravings. Okay, food. I'm going to check my notes because I want to make sure that I'm hitting all of these highlights here. Food is, like I said from the very beginning, perhaps the biggest needle mover and the most important one, because every tissue in your body is nourished by the food that you eat. So let me see if I can I'm just going to add a little drawing to, actually, I'm going to wait a second and we'll do it on the next page. So to keep it very, very simple, I bet that most of us need more vegetables in our diet. Most of the time, we need more fiber and we need protein also. You might be hearing a lot about this excess amount of protein, 30 grams per meal, 3 meals a day, 30 grams, so 90 to 100 grams of protein per day. Please do this on an individual basis. Please don't feel like you have to follow every fad and every Instagram recommendation. You need to do what works for you and what feels right for you. I totally agree that protein is a very powerful way to balance your blood sugar, to help you build muscle, and to stabilize and calm your nervous system, because protein is a more, it's a heavier item. So it gives you structure. There's no question about it. So, but if you're not digesting 100 grams of protein per day, that might be causing other problems for you. So we have to hit it from all different angles. We want to make sure your digestion is working, that your digestive fire is really strong. And then we also want to make sure that you're getting the right nutrients into your body. So protein, fiber, and healthy fat. Of course, healthy fat is a mover. Olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, I think is good. It's kind of one of those things we don't know a lot about how it's processed, but you want cold pressed oils so that they are the least amount of processing as possible, which means that sometimes you use oil after you've cooked. Ghee and grass-fed butter, also really great choices for healthy fats. But in general, we need more vegetables and we need more fiber, because why? They are your colon scrubbers. And remember, I told you about my mom. Things live in our body for a long time, and it doesn't cause trouble until later. So we want to be constantly cleaning our GI, and fiber is the magical thing that does that. We can talk sometime about supplements. I am not a huge fan of fiber supplements. You can buy fiber powder supplements that you can put in water and drink it down. If that's working for you and you're already using that, okay, great. But always, whole food is always the best choice. And I'm sure you know this already. So anyway, protein, fat, and fiber. And you want to be cleansing that colon every single day, and you want to be going to the bathroom before you ask your body to digest more food. So lots and lots and lots of things we can talk about this, but we're going to keep it simple today because I want to share one more thing with you. And one of these things is I want to share with you the energy of the day. But when you're eating, remember that you're eating food to nourish your tissues. But number two, you want to be digesting it. So how can you make sure that you're digesting your food? You're sitting down while you're eating. You're taking in 2 to 3 deep breaths before you bring food into your body. You might even look at your plate and check out all the colors and check out the smell. And you want to eat mostly gently cooked food so that it's easier on your digestion. So you want to be digesting, and you want to be nourishing, and you want to be hydrating. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to this other part that I want to share with you. And this will be very helpful. And then we can kind of finish this finish this conversation. I'm just quickly looking, quickly looking at your notes. I'm sorry, I am not able to make this any bigger to be able to see the easel pad any differently. Anyway, okay, so let's move on to this next thing that I would like to discuss. And this is the energy of the day. Okay, what's this weird line? Okay, we are going to talk just briefly. We just have about 15 minutes left, and I want to still give you time to ask a few questions if you like. But I want to talk about the energy of the day because to me, this is my absolutely favorite Ayurvedic concept. So let's have a drink of water. This is my favorite Ayurvedic concept because to me, I feel like this is what moves the needle. And yes, it's kind of hitting on all of those pillars that we talked about. And I want to help you see where you can make some changes in your day so that you have more energy, so that you're a stronger digester, so you can bring some calmness to your nervous system, and so you can rest and sleep better. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this really simple today, but I go in very deep into this with inside my Radiance program. And because I really do think this is the answer to everything. Okay, so let's start here at 6 a.m. This is 6 a.m. And your energy in the morning. Yeah, I'm sorry you can't see that hopefully you can see that, but you'll be able to kind of get the gist of this whole thing. So 6 a.m., we're starting at the baseline. We're just waking up from sleep. And so the energy here in the morning at 6 a.m. is kind of on the heavy side. It's on the low heavy side. Ayurveda uses the elements to understand energy, and this is another thing we can go into another time, but the morning time is earth energy. So ideally, you want to wake up and you want to counter that heaviness in the morning. So that's why in the morning time is really the best time for exercise. So you want to counter that heaviness in the morning with movement. So movement is ideal here. Now, your digestion is not very strong in the morning because we have this influence of the heavy energy. So you want to move your body. That can be an exercise or a workout, or it could be a simple 10-minute 20 walk. You're going to raise your cortisol levels. Pardon me. You're going to raise your cortisol levels in the morning by getting sunlight into your eyes and by moving your body. That's what you want. Cortisol spike is what helps you wake up. So we want to do some movement, and we want to have maybe a simple light breakfast. It's important, I think. I know there's so many concepts we can talk about, and this is what happens. I get so excited because there's a lot of talk also about intermittent fasting for women, and we do not intermittent fast the same way men do. If you have noticed, other men around you, perhaps maybe someone in your house has tried intermittent fasting. For a man, it might work very quickly and very well. For women, it might make you feel a little bit crazy, a little bit hangry, a little bit irritated, a little bit agitated. I mean, everything takes some time to shift, but you guys, we need food, we need nourishment, and we need to eat. And I think, and the women's health studies that I've been working on with another practitioner, she has proven that for women to eat within the first hour to 2 hours of waking up is the best time to turn on your metabolism. So you want your metabolism to be ready to go. Your fire is not too strong in the morning. Your digestive fire is not super strong. So we just want to eat something little though to get your digestive fire slowly warmed up. We want to stoke the fire. We don't want to just expect it to be a raging fire all at once. So we want to eat something light and small in the morning. Okay, so small breakfast. Small breakfast. Okay, now the energy of the day is slowly going up. And right about here, I want to say that this is noon time. Noon. So at about noonish, actually, it's anywhere between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. is when your digestive fire is the strongest. So I want you to think sun in the sky at noontime, fire in the sky, fire in your belly. This is when your digestion is the strongest. So around noontime is when you want to eat your meal. And that's when you want to eat your biggest meal of the day, because this is when you need the most energy. And this is when you have the strongest digestion. So use that noontime, fire in the sky, fire in your belly. And I've shared this with many of you guys, I think, over time, whether it's via email or whatever. Sit down while you're eating, take a couple of breaths, and let's talk about those plates really quick while we're here. So what I wanted to share with you when we were talking about food is that I would like you to do half your plate in veggies, and then a quarter protein, and actually it's just a small amount of fat, and then carbohydrates. And they can be, you don't want to have refined carbohydrates, but this can be brown rice or basmati rice or sweet potatoes or squash or acorn squash, something like that. And then half, if you can, you want to try to have green vegetables that are easy to digest, cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, arugula, romaine, any of those kind of things. I still ideally, you want your vegetables to be cooked because that's the easiest way to digest them. I want to show you one more circle really quick while we're here. And that is when you're eating, you want to have your stomach. Now imagine this is your stomach, your actual stomach where your food is digested. You eat your food, it goes into your esophagus and down into your stomach, which is the first connection it makes to your digestive fire, which is what processes and transform your food into nutrients. We call it juice of food, ahar rasa in Ayurveda. The idea is to make juice of food. So we need to chew our food, and we need to try to calm our nervous system so that our body can focus on food. We want to be in parasympathetic mode because that's the rest and digest mode. And so you want your stomach, your beautiful stomach that has this, at noontime especially, this beautiful fire here to cook up your food. Does that look like a fire? I don't know. Anyway, you want to have half your stomach with food, a quarter of your stomach with water, which means you're just going to sip water while you're eating. You're not chugging water and like 2 bites, wash it down, 2 bites, wash it down. You want to chew, 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 create juice of food, and then sip water during your meals because you don't want to dilute your digestive fire and your digestive acids in your stomach. Then a quarter air. So that means you have to stop eating before you're totally stuffed and totally full. Think of a washing machine. When you have your stomach, you have food, water, and air. And when it's cooking, it's tumbling and it's turning, and there's plenty of space for your food to be tumbling and turning. And then you're going to digest your food, and you're going to have a little bit of hydration to help along the process. Now, let me just mention, your food takes about 3 to 4 hours to digest. So ideally, you want to stretch your meals out 3 to 4 hours. So you can eat something around, like 7 or 8 in the morning, and then you can eat again at noon, and then you can eat again, between 5 and 6. Ideally, you have stabilized blood sugar because you ate enough at lunchtime to get you through to dinner. Okay, let's kind of wrap this up. The next thing is 6 p.m. So this from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the fire time of day where the energy is higher. And then we go into the movement time of day, which means if you've had enough lunch, you're going to have enough energy for the afternoon. So this is 6 p.m. And ideally, you want to have your dinner by 6 p.m. because guess what? The energy starts to go down again. What time is this? It's time for your bedtime routine. So your energy begins to come down again, and then we're preparing for sleep. And ideally, we are in bed, lights out, falling asleep by 10 p.m. So I hope this is helpful, but you can see how the energy of the day works. And ideally, we want to go with the flow of the day, because then everything in our pillars finds a new level of balance and a new level of being able to nourish your tissues, to nourish your body, to have more energy, to sleep deeper, and to use food as your fuel. So, okay. How's everyone doing here? We have a few minutes for questions. If anybody would like to ask a question, thank you for hanging in here with me. I know that was a lot of information, and if you're new here, you might have not heard a lot of these concepts before, but there's a pretty good chance that you've heard some of this, and you want a little bit of clarification. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being here. And one thing we can start to close up with is I am starting a new group inside my Radiance program. I'm not going to talk about it a lot here, but if you're interested at all, you can go to my website. It's gowithsteph.com. And I have all the information about my Radiance program. I completely rehabbed I've done this Radiance program for a couple of years, and I've kind of restarted the whole thing again, because I revamped the whole thing, because I think it's really important to do more one-on-one work when you are trying to make significant changes in your health. And so we do I have 8 modules, and they are somewhat based on some of the pillars that we talked about today, but we go deeper dive into digestion, we go deeper dive into hormones, we go deeper dive into food to nourish your body. And then I have a whole library of stress calming recordings that you can do either as meditations or moving meditations. If you've never meditated before, meditation can be very powerful, but can also be super challenging. So I have a whole section of moving meditations that can help you get out of stress mode and into that calmer parasympathetic mode. And it's really cool, and of course it's great to get the one-on-one time. And we can look into that by going to my website and set up a call with me. So we'll just have a little one-on-one time to get started, make sure it's a good fit, make sure it's something that you're really interested in. And I want to hear about your goals, I want to hear about your dreams. So if you're thinking about your dreams at the very beginning, where we started with this call, if you're thinking about that, put that at the top of your list, because the way that you want to feel and the way that you want to live your life and how you want to live in your body is the key to implementing some of these things and feeling better from top down and from inside out. So radiance is about shining from the inside out. It's about feeling your best. It's about showing up at your highest potential. And it's about doing what you want to do and going for your dreams. And when you're exhausted and you're overwhelmed and you're not feeling good in your body, it can make it very difficult to even dream a little bit, or even have ideas about what you could do, or what your potential is. So we want to really care for your body deeply. And I give you lots of ideas about how to do that. And we need help. We need support. We want to build a community around this so that we can do it together. And we can live our dreams and live our best life. And we want to live a long time, and we want to be able to take care of our kids and our grandbabies. And, we want to enjoy our family and our friends. And whether you want to travel, or you like to be outside every day, or whatever it may be, maybe you just want to be able to get up and down off the floor until you're 80. And that's a great goal, believe me, because when you keep your body moving, you're able to, the longevity factor goes by incremental amounts. So it's really fun. Okay, so will I make the recorded class available? Yes, absolutely. Thank you all so much. I will have the recording available, and please reach out to me and let me know what other topics you'd like to hear about. I know I came up with a bunch of them today just while we were talking. We can talk more about hormones. We can talk more about intermittent fasting. I really want to go deep dive into helping you eat differently at home. And so I'm going to be doing a lot more videos with cooking and that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm super excited to get this going. And I loved having you all here today. It just fills my heart to have you all show up. And I really honor and so grateful that you took time out of your very busy day to hang out with me. And I love that you're interested in radiance living, that you want to feel better and that you're ready to make changes in your life. And so I'm so very grateful and thank you for being here with me. And please go and put your legs up the wall. I just see someone's already ready for a mom timeout. So yeah, put your legs up the wall, get that lymphatic system moving. And thank you again. Until next time, I will see you again soon. Mwah! Have a great day.